Hello, everyone. This is Meshif, aka Talk to Meshif.
And I'm Axion, and today we have another user-submitted replay that we're going to cast. It's a 1v1 on Scrap Station with Cabolish, the Blue Zerg, versus MrPennyiwse, the Red Terran. And this game is going to be used as an example to show how you really need to get the most out of the buildings you put up. If you're going to put something there, it may sound like common sense, but it's often hard to do in-game. You have a lot of things going on, but if you're going to put a building down a production building, you really need to try to utilize it for as long as you can and try to work it into as much of your gameplay as possible.
Yeah, definitely. We did watch the replay before we casted it. Some of the other replays or the cast, we just go right ahead and cast it. But we scouted this ahead of time, and we definitely noticed that was something to watch for. So we wanted to get that out of the way early, so you guys would keep that in the back of your minds as you watch the cast.
Yep. And I really like the Overlord placement at this point. He's sending one in to kind of check out the side of MrPennywise's base, and I assume this other one, we'll see in a second, I assume it's either going to head down towards these breakable rocks, just to keep an eye out there in the middle, or towards MrPennywise's natural expansion. We'll just have to see where it goes.
Yep, pretty basic play right now, and we do see the extractor going down first for Cabolish.
Looks like he's throwing down a 15 extractor, 14 pool, which is pretty common. It looks like, from my guess, he'd probably throw 3 drones in right as that's done, and he's going to have about 100 gas when the spawning pool finishes, which will give him pretty great timing to get Zergling speed if he gets some Zerglings out right away.
Yeah, and we see MrPennyiwse here trying to go for the front choke block, the wall with those Terran buildings, which Terran's so good at. And we do see the drone here going to be harassing this SCV a little bit. So, oh well, maybe not. Maybe he's just going to hide behind that building. It's hard to really see what's going on there, but it looks like another SCV does come in and is able to take some hits on that drone. And he looks like he actually might take the drone down, but he does force the drone to get out of there.
Yeah, it looked like he might have tried to attack it and misclick. A good tactic that I actually just learned if you want to do that is, because it's really good to harass Terran right about that point, is to bring your Zerg drone or your probe or your SCV in and just A-click near the worker, and he'll go and auto-attack the worker instead of the building. And of course, while I'm saying this, we're just missing what's going on. So MrPennyiwise is normal command, factory around 16, and it looks like the metabolic boost just went down. Pretty good timing there.
Yep, seems to be standard, and here come a couple Zerglings popping out of the larva there. Heading out across the map, and MrPennyiwse throws down a factory, but he does not use it to block off his front. So we'll see if those Zerglings are going to be able to scoot up there. There's one Marine out. He's going to be heading down, and if the Zerglings run by him, these Zerglings can actually get in the base and do some harassment to those workers.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like he's got one more Marine up there, and the Zerglings are backing out, so it looks like it should be fine. There's only one left. And Cabolish has gone for an expansion around 21, as well as his queen has finished. He's gotten his first larva inject in. I'd like to see this queen start to spread some creep. It's basically free map vision if you can spread your creep well, because you can see anything that crosses it.
Yeah, we do see a spine crawler going up at the front of Cabolish's base, so he's putting down a little static defense. And hopefully, he will use the queen to start to spread that creep, get it out around here. Especially, when your natural expansion is starting to go up, you really want to get the creep all around there to be able to protect your expansion. And the Marine at the watchtower does go down.
And MrPennywise's first siege tank is about to pop out as siege tech is about halfway done. It'll be interesting to see if he throws down either another barracks or another factory second. If he's going to go heavier on the tanks or the Marines. Marines and Marauders, and it looks like there it is, the second barracks is going down.
Yep, he went a little unorthodox build, I believe. The one barracks, then into factory, and then second barracks. Not something that I've seen too often, but I assume it will be fairly strong at being able to produce some of the that strong mech and bio ball army kind of combined. You bring some tanks along with some Marines. He does have the tech lab down, which is researching Stimpack.
Yeah, and it looks like Cabolish has thrown down simultaneously a Roachmorn and a Baneley nest. So we could be seeing Roach Baneling. I imagine that is what that would suggest. As well as a second queen is about to pop out of his expansion, and it looks like he should be getting some drones there momentarily.
Yep, and we see the second tank on its way, just about to pop out, and we do see the starport and the command center going down inside Mr. Pennywise's base. So he's looking to expand. I think, yeah, it's pretty smart play by Cabolish. He does have that Zergling there, so he will scout that when that command center does fly over there.
Yeah, and I really like what Mr. Pennywize is doing. He's assembling a pretty strong army, and I assume he's going to push out to expand. Probably, I'd imagine when he moves these siege tanks down more towards the gas vents, he's able to secure that choke point. When he does that, I'd imagine he starts flying his command center over. And it looks like Stimpak is almost done, so we may be seeing an early push as well as the reactor goes down on the starport.
Yeah, what I'd like to see maybe Cabolish do with these Zerglings is start to chew at these rocks in between, because when Mr. Pennywise does decide to move out, he can just secure this choke right here, and not have to worry about these any units coming from across the kind of the bridge here. So he just has that smaller choke, and siege tanks against these Zerglings really are going to do a lot of damage. But if he can get these rocks down and open up that bridge, then he can get units coming in here, and Mr. Pennywise will have a kind of a wider choke area to worry about.
Yeah, and it looks like Mr. Pennywise's macro has kind of slipped a little bit. He's doing well on gas, but his minerals are up over 1,000, and this is kind of the first example of what I was talking about. He just now started to produce banelings and roaches. I think he only has, it's 2 roaches on the field and 8 banelings, where he's had both of those up for about, I'd say 1 or 2 minutes. And one of the things he mentioned in his email was he thinks this is a good example of also just not producing enough units, and I would definitely say he's right. Right now at his main, he's got 5 larvae lying on the ground, which he just now turned into units, which could have been done a lot earlier.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with that. He does have plenty of resources now. He's got his main fully mining, and his expansion should be getting pretty close to being fully saturated. Starting that second extractor just now. And so yeah, he does have the resources. He does have the buildings necessary for production. So he definitely should start to utilize that. And we do see centrifugal or centrifugal hooks coming out of the baneling's nest.
And it looks like Mr. Pennywise did just that. He moved out to his choke, set up his expansion, and 2 medevacs are about to pop out of the starport. So I really wouldn't be surprised for her to see a push soon.
Something I'd like to see Cabolish do is, and I guess he may have already done this, as this Overlord does have only 100 hit points left. But use these Overlords to every now and then kind of poke in here and see what you can see. If he came, if you manage it and micro it well enough, you can kind of come in here, see any tech buildings that he's placed on this side, see what what's going on around the command center, and then pull back.
And I hate to interrupt you, but it looks like some Zerglings about to run into this tank line. Oh no! Oh, they're all running in, and the Banelings. Turn back, Banelings! Don't go in there! Don't go in there!
Yeah, every unit being pretty much roasted. The Banelings continuing. Oh wow, and they are completely destroyed. I don't think. Let's see, just 1 Marine with 10 out of 45 health, and most of the other ones are almost fully healthy. So these tanks are all corporals with 5 or more kills. So definitely kind of a not necessarily mismanaging, but a bad time to push, especially after those first Zerglings got dominated. He should have pulled out with the Banelings.
Yeah, he definitely should have sent 1 or 2 into scout. And I'd just like to note about progressing into the later games, having your builds turn into things. What we're talking about. Mr. Pennywise just threw up an armory, and with these tech labs on there to already get tanks, he can easily switch to Thors, as it looks like Mutalisks are on the way, and in fact, it's going to provide a really easy transition for Mr. Pennywise.
Yeah, I mean,
we have 2 things going on right now. The roaches are running in. Oh, this is really tough. You never want to run into that vented area because you cannot see in there unless you have units. As well as mutas are down here. Mr. Pennywise is then picking off the supply depot. And I'd really like to see them try to hit either the tech labs or the armory on these factors.
Yeah, I did just check out the vision that Mr. Pennywise had of Cabolish's base, and he had not seen the spire yet. So he definitely did not have the scouting information he needed to prepare for that. And as you can see, his army is very ground-oriented right now. And he's going to have a lot of trouble dealing with all these mutas. He does have a few Vikings out on the field, though.
But it looks like Cabolish at this point is just under-united. I really would have liked to see some more Roaches and Banelings at this point. The Banelings could have come in and busted up the Marines, and then even the Roaches could have tanked the damage from the tanks for a little bit. I mean, tanks do great damage to armor. But once the Marines are gone, the mutas could have just come in here and picked off these siege tanks no problem. Because, I mean, medevacs just heal Marines at 1,000,000 hit points a second. So 4 Marines looks like it just took down 4 mutas with 2 medevac support.
Yeah, we do see the mutas being able to do a fair amount of damage before a few stand-up Marines are able to take it out. So, definitely kind of a unit composition problem here, whereas MrPennyiwse has a very strong ground force, but no anti-air, but it's really going to come down to if Cabolish can get enough air units out in time. And I don't know if he's producing more units, more mutas, but it looks like he's got nothing on the production tab, and look at his resources right now.
Yeah, especially with that Thor here now, those mutas are really not going to be able to do much. His Thor is just absolutely just torch mutas if you don't have them in the magic box. And it looks like he's got some Zerglings on the way, as well as 3 mutas. His resources right now, 3,000, 1,000, definitely could have expanded earlier, and I really would have liked to see more production of the higher tier units, of the Banelings, of the Roaches, although those are not higher tier. It still would have been nice to have them. Because you do, as we can just watch MrPennyiwse clean up the base here, he had these up. He had the Baneling nest up. He did research centrifugal hooks, and he did put the Roach Warren up, but he didn't make very much use of them. And this is kind of a thing that I'm prone to do as well. I will often, in my one-on-one games, I like to go sometimes 2 racks, 1 factory, and do some Hellion harass with that factory. But I'll end up having the reactor on the factory, and then just kind of forget about it afterwards, forget to switch to a tech lab to let me transition into either tanks or Thors for the later game. So you definitely want to try to make the use of the buildings that you have out. The Baneling nest could have had some more Banelings. Had he scouted better, he would have seen the initial tank line that he ran into, maybe sending only 1 or 2 Zerglings, and his Banelings might not have died so easily. If you want to get really technical, and if your micro is good enough, if you've seen any or you know of Fruit Dealer, he's an incredible Zerg player, and one of the things he does is research the upgrades for the Overlords, and he'll do these Baneling bombs, where he'll load up Banelings from the Overlords, fly them over his opponent's units, and just drop them off, and they just wreak havoc on them. So that's one way to really kind of utilize your Banelings in a creative way. And then I do think the switch to Spire Tech was a good idea. It's just I don't think there were enough units on the field to really give the mutas support, and we just saw that the tank line just walked all over his ground forces because there really weren't a lot of them.
Yep, definitely very, very good points that Axion is making, and hopefully you guys enjoy the little recap that we try to give at the end of each game. Specifically when these players, Cabolish in this game, send us the replay, asking us to give specific suggestions and ideas for how to play better. So hopefully those will help him. Keep the replays coming. Our email address, as always, is getbetterstarcraft@gmail.com. It's all one word, no spaces. And hopefully we'll see you guys around. Until then, keep getting better.